Holy heck. What Chef Willie has rolled out here in the Top Secret Podcast Layer South is just absurd. If you want to see it, find us on YouTube, find us on X, find us on Facebook, find us on Instagram. This is Implicit Bias. I am your host, Kevon Bordelon, and that is a cheesecake stuffed, deep fried caramel apple. Yeah, go ahead, Renee. What is it?
Heck is not the word that I would use.
I am aware, and that's okay. All right, so as we dive into this last course here at the only 5-star restaurant between New Orleans and Houston, we have got to tie in the last segment of this show, which is the arrest of P-Diddy. And we were hypothesizing during the last break. I am going to straight up tell you, I believe P-Diddy is, or P-Diddler is the linchpin in all of this actually falling down. And here's why. So when Jeffrey Epstein was arrested, and this is one of the things that comes into nomenclature, which is, number one, when Jeffrey Epstein was arrested, not many people knew exactly who Jeffrey Epstein was. That's thing number one. Thing number two is this, is that Megyn Kelly, who tells us that our favorite person who didn't kill himself actually isn't dead, and we're going to hear from him. Megyn Kelly, the former Fox News host, now says this guy's alive, and we're going to hear from him in the next few months. There's a lot of theory around him still being alive, him not being the body that was wheeled out of the New York prison that P. Diddy is now in, by the way. There's a lot to this conversation. Now, I'm not saying that Kelly's correct. I'm not saying that any of this is right. What I'm saying is we just don't know. But here's what we do know. What we do know is if Jeffrey Epstein was known by the crew here, a lot of us knew who Jeffrey Epstein was, but how many people did you know that understood the depth of the Epstein scandal? A lot, Renee, or just a few?
No, I mean, there was a lot of people that were accused of being in the black book. There was a lot of people that were questionable whether they went to the island or...
That's not what I'm asking. What I'm asking is, how many people that you knew were like, oh, I know exactly what's going on with the Epstein thing? Very few.
Oh, nobody knows what was going on.
Nobody knew,
because
right?
it's all theories and everything else, and, you know...
But here's the deal. How many people know what's going on with Diddy? How many people who don't pay attention to politics know what's happening with Diddy? Oh, no, a lot of people know with Diddy. A lot of people. Renee,
I mean,
they're not
Diddy,
your age.
Diddy.
I'm just saying.
No,
they're not your age.
I'm old.
Yeah.
But Diddy's always been involved in a lot of things. I mean, he was a mogul. I mean, he had clothing. He had all kinds of music. He had his fingers were in everything.
Everything. So here's why I believe that this is the card that brings everything down. So what we now know about Diddy is that the FBI and the Justice Department, when they did the press conference, actually came out and said, here's what he's charged with. He is charged with the Racketeering Influence Corrupt Organization Act, RICO. That is a charge he has been charged with. He has been charged with trafficking individuals for the purpose of sex. He has been charged with utilizing paid sex workers to obtain videos of people who might not have done things. So this is where this gets real interesting. Let's start looking at who Diddy was connected to. Was Diddy connected to Tay-Tay? Oh, he absolutely is.
In the music industry.
In the music industry, he is. And everybody knows he's kind of the guy who's got all the dirt on everybody in music. Have y'all noticed that 50 Cent has just disappeared for a while?
Yeah.
We haven't seen 50 Cent in a while. 50 Cent came out a long time ago and said, what Diddy knows is going to get him in trouble. What Diddy has done on video and what he's got is going to get him in trouble. And that looks ridiculous.
I mean, the videos have come out with Diddy slapping women and
there's all kinds of stuff, right?
Dude, that's
so
just horrible.
So now let's put all of this together, because to be fair, there is a video of Diddy having a conversation about his birthday party where he says Donald Trump stopped by and he had the inspiration to bust a move. He was asked, well, what about Donald Trump? He said, I'm not talking anymore about that. But there's plenty of video of him with Kamala Harris where she has a tweet thanking him. There's plenty of video of Diddy with Tay-Tay, who just endorsed who? Kamala Harris. So let's start thinking about this. So first of all, I find it hysterical that the endorsement has now backfired. And here's why. Number one, if you thought that that Taylor Swift was going to convince someone who was not a fan of hers to vote the way she wants, you're delusional. No one was going to be like, oh, well, I like her, so I might vote this way. If you were voting for Harris and you were a Taylor Swift fan, you were already voting for Harris. But we are now seeing, and there are multiple reports, please don't believe me, that the endorsement is now hurting Harris because all of a sudden the people who don't support that are like, oh no, that's where I draw the line. You are a bad singer who can't dance and look like a freaking wet lasagna noodle. If you were to take off all your clothes, I am not voting the way you want because you know jack squat about politics.
Wait, if you got to depend on Taylor Swift to convince you on who to vote for,
get ready to ring the bell, Grant.
Dude, you don't need a vote at all. If you're that clueless, oh my God, please make your own decision.
Well, yeah, but the problem we have is we have a lot of youth that they just follow the river, right? And
think.
Well, we want them to think, and if they ever start paying attention, they'll realize that all of us can say this: 90% of Taylor Swift songs are about choosing the wrong person. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to take you a step farther. And 90% of her fans are people who aren't of the age to vote.
They're not.
90% of her fans are under the age of 18.
Well, and the
think
goal,
about that.
The goal we have is, like, as a good parent, you should teach your child to think for themselves. And a child that thinks for themselves, the moment that this artist, whoever the artist is,
doesn't matter,
right? They're going to say, well, hold on. 2 + 2 = 4, not 37. Let me do some backpedaling, some research, and dig into this. And when they realize that this artist who's up here talking about the right person to choose, talking about the right decision to make, well, you've been wrong your whole career. Why should I listen to your political views, your emotional views, and your social beliefs now?
And look what she did to her current boyfriend. He went from being an NFL stud, and he's like doing nothing now.
Well,
I mean, he's straight up
trash. Have you seen the pictures of him before they dated?
Yes,
now?
Yes. It tells you everything you need to know. If you want to be washed down that rabbit hole, have fun. Walker, the finger.
I know. I wanted to chime.
This is such a fun episode. Look, here's the deal. You never know. Find us on our socials because we might just keep going for a little while, for a couple seconds. We might do a little more from Mr. Lester Steakhouse. We might keep giving you a little more of your implicit bias. If you can't find us on our socials, find us next week on your radio station. But Facebook, X, YouTube, Insta, we're there for you, for your implicit bias. Have a great week. We'll see you in 7.